fucking video of myself talking because I love to watch myself and I can't watch myself much. And hey camera, if I ever lose this, you have no fucking idea the context you're coming into. And what's interesting as well is due to this new perspective, those listening to only the recording version are going to lose out on what the camera brings. Because the camera, I am visual in the camera. I expect you to see me, to hear me, to know what I'm doing, to know how I choose to present this. With the strictly audio, you don't get that. You just get my voice and how I choose to speak. Now, alright, now what was I speaking of? Oh yes, my things I do. My music. Now, let's start with music. I've got so much fucking musical divergence. I could be a traveling library of music, of the greatest songs ever. Let's go by terms of, I guess what I like the most, or how I can describe my music the best. So, to start, I have rap. I love rap. I'd say I have like 6,000 or 7,000 songs of rap in my 5-star playlist, which is a playlist composed of the best of all the artists or albums I've downloaded. When I download a artist or album through strictly legal means, I go through each song, I skip ahead in it, and if it sounds good for those couple seconds I hear, I give it 5 stars. If it sounds not too good, I give it 4 stars. The 5 stars make it into the list, and the list makes it on my iPod. I go through a selection period. And then, eventually, I just shuffle my 5 stars, and I get any of the random great songs I have. See, now that's one process of finding the above average and grouping them together. And through this above average, I have another playlist called Meilleurs, which means the best, or something similar to that, in French. And through this 5-star playlist, I drag the best into Meilleurs. But since I'd like to hear as much of a difference as possible, I usually shuffle the 5-star playlist. But whenever I want the top songs I have, I go to Meilleurs. So that's an example. That's just a fucking aristocracy right there. The Meilleurs are the upper class. The 5-star are the middle class, and the low class are the 4 stars, which are there. I don't even use those. I just delete those when I need space. So I have my own aristocracy. Except I say the middle class is the most used and the best. I have side playlists, but those don't matter. Rap. Let's go top 5 rappers in order. We have K-Rino, the first. Known about him since before I went to Japan, like a couple weeks before I went to Japan. K-Rino's the first. Second, Tupac, though that's slowly changing, slowly. Tupac, I've had him since like 2012 maybe. Like him. Third, Cannabis. I got into him. I've known about him before this, but I've gotten into him the same day as K-Rino. The fourth. Now this is a bit, I have a couple I want to be in these positions. I usually change them out depending on what mood I'm in. The fourth is usually Crooked I, who's got the flow and lyrics to match any hoe who wants to interfere with this. Lyrical misfitness. Petey, don't fucking move, you little shit bitch. 4 is, like I said, a Crooked I. Oh, you're plugged in, so I can't move you, camera. Nah, I'll just leave you on. Okay, 4 is Crooked I. Petey up. Crooked I is 4. 5. So 5 is either. The Crooked I is possibly substitutable. 5 is either Aesop Rock, J Electronica, or Illogic. Now, like many other rappers, like Idea, Slug, Atmosphere, one and the same, almost, Slaughterhouse, like Eminem, though he's not my favorite anymore. Used to like him a lot. Biggie, many other, Wu-Tang. I've got all their fucking solo albums and shit. All that stuff I enjoy thoroughly, and I spend most of my time off camera and not reading, enjoying the music I have. It's actually a primary source of my entertainment. And you, camera, are missing 3 minutes of context. Though this is actually missing about 17 years of context. with an occasional hindsight or insight into my life. Next we have 70s rock, which I got from Rolling Stone's list of 500 greatest songs ever made. I got that entire list downloaded through strictly legal means. Strictly legal as how I define legal. And I mean, why even make a mention of it if it wasn't legal? Because then I'd just be, you know. So I have 70s rock, where I have my favorite artists are Beatles and Jimi Hendrix and Creedence Clearwater Revival. And I have other 70s. Petey, sit your fucking ass down. I have other 70s rock as well, but I don't have to name everybody. The next is classical. Classical 20s and 40s and 30s. I have Sinatra and Dean Martin, my favorite singer. I love Sinatra. He's my best. And through all this, I have a mix of what, like blues, reggae, a little bit, like a couple Bob Marley songs and some others, jazz, and country. I have Johnny Cash, like Johnny Cash. I have Otis Redding. Other guys as well. As for rap, I usually gravitate towards 90s and underground. I don't need to check up on my favorite artist's new album, because most of my favorite artists are dead or retired. Except not. All the guys in my list, besides Tupac in my top 5, are still current, actually. They're all like mid-2000s. Or early 2000s, except for K-Rino, who's been rapping since the fucking 80s, but he got his current as self in the 2000s. Late 90s, 2000s. And now comedy, yes. George Carlin, before the rap hit me, was my comedian. Before even him, there was Chris Rock, who I think in like 2007, 2008, I found his clips on YouTube, when YouTube was still new. Relatively. I think it might have been before then, it might have been 2007, it was a long time ago. When YouTube was still new, I found Chris Rock videos and showed it to my showed it to my cousins. And I just listened to the rap stand-ups before I even listened to fucking rap. I just thought it was fucking funny. Chris Rock, then through him, I downloaded his stuff off iTunes. Only albums I have on my iPod are Never Scared and Cheese and Crackers, which is a mixture of other shit I don't fucking want to get into. Then I got some Wanda Sykes, only one of her albums with Bobby and the Airplane, that one. Then Dane Cook dominated me. I got all of his albums. I thought he was very funny for a long time until until maybe high school or the end of middle school. Then I got Daniel Tosh, Jim Gaffigan. George Carlin came in somewhere between Dane Cook and everyone else. Maybe even as with Dane Cook or something. Listen to George Carlin a lot. I like George Carlin a lot. I think 13 is when I listened to George Carlin. Yes. I remember his ideas, while knowing they were strictly comedic for the most part, were ones I agreed with, but he put my ideas into words for the most part, and convinced me of them. Now, I don't want to blame him strictly for this, for I like to say I come to the conclusion on my own, but he helped out with my religion a little bit. I was already gravitating away from it due to my own self-thought, which was not as nearly as high as it is now, of course, you know. Not as nearly as high as it is now. But he helped quite a bit. That does not mean... Don't mean to pass the blame for my wondrous success on a George Carlin, and in the eyes of those I'm more concerned of, the wondrous failure to him. But, you know. Then, recently, as of last year, I got to Bill Burr, who I like. And then sometime before him, Louis C.K. And yeah, Bo Burnham. So my favorite comedians are my top 4 who make me laugh always, or I just thoroughly enjoy listening to, are Chris Rock, the funniest man for me. Oh, sorry, top 5, because I like Richard Pryor too. Chris Rock, Then, George Carlin, Bill Burr, Louis C.K., and Richard Pryor. Now, Chris Rock is always fucking funny to me. I've heard all of his shit so many times, it's always funny every time I hear it, and it makes me fucking die laughing. So he has to be number one because he's the funniest comedian. George Carlin was 2, I believe. And he's just interesting to listen to. I enjoy listening to him because, along with comedy, he brings insight and interest. It's 12:55. Fuck. And then I said Bill Burr because he's always also very funny and he's quite entertaining. And then I said Louis C.K., who I also find funny, and then Richard Pryor, who I enjoy listening to for how cool that motherfucker was. What else do I do? Nothing else that's of importance. I'm done with this recording. I need to get to sleep, or else I'm gonna be up all night again. I'm having a shitty day. Did I already go over how I don't care about how my school is me absent from it? Did I go over that? Because I remember I was talking to myself a bit before I turned the recorder on to tell that shitty joke. You don't know what I'm talking about, camera. If I didn't say camera, I would have said neither do you, recorder. But I didn't. Like I said, I would have said you don't know what I'm talking about, camera. I would have said you don't know what I'm talking about as I point to the camera. I said you don't know what I'm talking about, record. You don't know either, recorder. But I decided to say camera and fucked up that whole segment, which made people love me forever, because that's what people do. I don't think I did talk about school. That might have been before, so. I kind of wanted to do the dog balls thing. I kind of wanted to go on Facebook and send, my numerous amount of friends a message saying, do you think there's a person who just eats dog balls? But I remembered that I don't have anyone to send anything to. My only 2 candidates are Patrick, who I've not heard from really since I was at Chris's before I went to school, and who I've said I would not message again until he responded with me a date and time that he just responded to me at all. He's yet to respond. It's been like a week or 2. And then Victoria, who has chosen through whatever reason to gravitate away from me. Even though I said hi, this is a gravitational way, okay? She chose to just say, you know what? I'm going to talk to you less. It's not blunt. It's not like she ignores messages. But she's just uninterested. She's moved on past me. So I've knowing the message. I could message Victoria, because she would look at it, she would respond, but there's no point in it. I see no real, I don't probably get much. She'll probably be like, what? She'll probably be like, yeah, what? What are you saying? What? Or LOL, or haha, or just something fucking pointless. Like, it doesn't matter. She'll say that, she'll just say some something, she'll respond in a way where I'm not able to respond by leaving a remark devoid of any elaboration I could give it. Yeah, okay, I said that correctly. And so, yeah, that's 2 people that are gone, and then I have nothing. And I've noticed, since high school began, I've subsequently lost people I could play Xbox with. Middle school, my height of my Xbox career, 2009. After that, it was a plummet. 2010 was maybe a bit of a rise, with the clans. I went from Braino Dud, the popular Braino Dud, to Nitro, to Little Beast, then to Nitro Persians, and then back to Braino Dud. And Braino Dud was like sophomore year. Then high school came. I would play Xbox with Ben, with Matt, with Patrick. Not too much with Owen, because he's been irregular for my years. Ben, Patrick, and Owen. I had 3 people. Then after about a month in, or 2 months in, I told Matt, hey, we should play the Borderlands 1, because we were playing like Dead Island and Borderlands. I said, hey, we should play the Borderlands, I think it was sometime in October. I said, hey, Matt, we should play the Borderlands 1 DLC about the zombies, which I had him download, and he said, nah, it sucked. And I never messaged him back since. Yeah. He said, no, it was bad. I never played with him again or messaged him back. So that's when he got inducted into his social group. Never spoken to him since then. Huh. Then, as of last year, I played with Ben and all that crap. Then, about a couple months into last year. No, sophomore year. Throughout most of sophomore year, I played with Ben. And then towards the end of sophomore year, he poofed, went away. I don't think I've played with him. I've not played with him since sophomore year. Because I remember I wanted to play GTA with him, but he won't get on. Wait, no. Yeah, since I've not played with Ben since sophomore year on Xbox. No, he came over in the summer, in between sophomore and junior year, and we played on. But I've not played with him online or anything like that. So not since sophomore year, really. Or if you want to be factual, this summer. Before junior. Then junior year, entirely throughout the year at Patrick. Then through the summer, played with Patrick. And now since he went to college, I've not played with Patrick, so I have no one to play Xbox with. Unless Patrick wants to come back and play Xbox, which I've not played with Xbox with him since he's been in college. I got no one. I can ask Owen, but he's in college as well, actually, I think. Unless he stayed back. So I have no one to play Xbox with. Got no fucking people. Got no friends. No friends. Ugh. Yeah. It's unfortunate. It really is unfortunate, isn't it? I mean, I see all these people in the day-to-day. Pretty much, but there's nothing wrong with these people. It's just either gradual graduation or something, some bullshit concept infected their mind. Alright. Well, goodbye, recorder. Now, as for camera, you'll get a special moment with me. A special moment that I will not be sharing with this, because obviously, everyone wants these special moments. No, I have suspicions of my modeling. Why? Because I have an appointment today at 5, which I've been trying to change for a couple of weeks. And my mom has been trying to change because she hasn't been able to make it. So she told me she sent emails. And she tried calling them, but she got no message back. So it worries me that maybe they took the money, and now they're going to stonewall me. They're not going to want me to fuck with them. Now that could be quite a fucking heartbreaker, couldn't it? Kind of a bitch move, wouldn't it? Very shitty move. So, yeah. I need to really sleep. It's 1 a.m. 1:03 a.m. October 1st. And I need to sleep. I'm only going to get 4.5 hours of sleep if I fall asleep right now. But I'm not going to fall asleep right now. I'm going to fall asleep in like a half hour, maybe an hour. I'm not going to get much sleep. So I'm going to go eat some candy, though, because I'm slightly hungry, but not hungry enough to want to get some real food. I'm going to watch a fucking YouTube video of guys playing games, and I'm going to try and lay down until I can hopefully fall back asleep. I'm not tired, though, but I'll fall back asleep. As long as no spiders want to crawl from a ceiling again. Alright? Alright, baby. Do I need to make a friend? I don't want to make a friend, but I will if I have to. If I become so fucking socially unstable, I will go and make a fucking friend. I will try, but I feel like my persistence will be met with nothing good, because I don't go to lunch. I can't make friends if I don't go to lunch. And I haven't, have I? I've subsequently lost friends, as demonstrated. I mean, there's people I've talked to each year, but it's only been a yearly basis. No external friendships, no long-lasting ones. One thing I can be sure of is I'm definite that I'm probably gonna speak to Patrick again sometime in my life. I'm sure I'm not never gonna talk to him again. That'd be probably unlikely, unless he dies tomorrow. Wouldn't that be interesting? What if he dies? I'm the sole heir then. I'm the oldest cousin. I'm the heir of the family if he dies. Okay, think about this. We have generations as to who is the head of the family. On de facto head of the family. Right now, my grandfather. He organizes most of the meetings, most of it's held at his house, but he's getting old. And now it's up in the question as to who will be the de facto leader. He's still the de facto man. But now we've had a family meeting at Chris's. Mike's been doing stuff. So I say it's between Chris and Mike. Chris and Mike, the two powers struggling for power. I would most likely go for Mike because he's the oldest one. And the one who seems more willing to do that or does it more often. I don't know, Chris might, but he's a bit young. But then after that generation, we have the grandchildren of the de facto head now. That's everyone that is currently. Jacqueline's not going to be the head, and I don't know how things are going to go. I mean, I don't know what my position will be, but I mean, saying everyone woke up older tomorrow, who would the heads be? It'd be between Patrick and me. Now, I wouldn't want to be one. So I'd leave him, but he's gravitating more away from the family for the past couple of years, or that I've noticed, or the past year or so that I've noticed. I say it'd likely be Patrick to be the de facto leader, and I would be, maybe not. But I'd be old at this time, so I can't even fucking fathom to predict where I'll be. But as I currently am, justifying or predicting how I would be in the future, I'd say it'd be Patrick because he seems like he'd be more the character for organizing that kind of stuff, but I don't know how I'll change. But I do see it as possible that I could be. See, it's between me and him, though, only me and him. Though it doesn't really matter. See how things go. I yawned. I get to sleep. Yay. Yay. So there's an advantage to watching this and an advantage to watching that. The recorder knows what happens before this, and this knows what happens after the recorder. Yeah, see what I did there? I gave weight to each claim. You can't just pirate one, you have to pirate both now. Because there's just a difference, you know. The director's cut, I don't know. Alright, I hate saying goodbye to you. I do. I mean, it feels like my life's been on pause ever since I turned the camera off last time. Right? What has happened to me since I've turned this thing back on? I got my license. I mean, honestly, nothing happens to me on camera. Ever. Nothing really substantial happens to me on camera, but... yeah. Alright. Try to see my face, I'm not sure. Boy, Petey. Boy, Petey. What, Petey? Yeah, he's tired. Alright. All this stuff really fades into the background until you zoom in on it. It might stand out a bit more. Alright, you got about 7 minutes of extra content over the original recording. Bye bye.